Sagittarius, you know nothing yet. Your world is about to change. Karma has been lifted in a big way. If you are hearing these words, please pause for a moment. Not because time is passing too quickly, but because something very important is trying to reach you. Something that has never happened before, not to anyone else, but to you. You may have experienced many changes, many turns of fate, but this time, it's different. Because it's not coming from the outside world. It starts with a quiet tremor, right within your soul. And if your heart suddenly becomes still upon hearing these words, if you feel something is about to happen but cannot yet name it, then please stay. Because this is not a coincidence. This is a whisper. A signal. An invisible map is being laid out, and your name is glowing on it. Sagittarius, you think you know who you are, but you don't. You know nothing yet, and that is the most magical thing. Because only when you let go of all the old definitions, all the roles life has assigned you, can you touch the deepest part, where true destiny awaits. You don't need to understand everything. You don't need to explain yourself to anyone. Because this journey is not for the mind, but for the soul. And your soul, in this very moment, is listening more clearly than ever before. Do you feel it? A transformation, quiet yet powerful, is happening within you. Like when the night seems endless, but suddenly, in the farthest place, there is a small light. Not bright enough to shine, but just enough to help you no longer fear the dark. God is with you. And even if you cannot see him, your heart has begun to hear him clearly. In a breath, in a dream, in a moment of stillness under the sky when you feel small, but also deeply loved. It is not a coincidence that you are here, at this very moment, hearing these words. The universe does not send messages to the wrong person. And you, yes, you, are the one chosen to change, to awaken, to step into an entirely different world. If your heart is slowing down for something that cannot yet be named, do not rush to leave. What you are about to hear in the next part is not just a message. It is confirmation for all the feelings you've never dared to put into words. There are things in life that we never thought would happen to us. Not because they are too far away, but because we've become used to living within the bounds of logic. We believe that if we do the right things, if we live kindly, if we try hard enough, then everything will eventually be okay. But Sagittarius, there are seasons in life that do not follow ordinary logic. There are moments when you do everything right, and the world still falls apart in front of you. And then you ask yourself, why? I understand you. I have listened to many souls, witnessed hundreds, thousands of people fall into such moments. And among all the zodiac signs, Sagittarius is the one who bears this in the most unique way, with pride and silence. Because you were born with a free heart, a soul that always looks forward. Yet you carry within yourself a great mission, to discover truth beyond all boundaries. And to uncover that truth, you must walk through places no one dares to go, the land of loneliness, of doubt, and sometimes, even despair. I know you've asked yourself, could I be on the wrong path? When everything doesn't go as planned. When those around you no longer understand you. When your faith wavers and you begin to doubt yourself. But Sagittarius, you are not on the wrong path. You are on a different path, one that is not paved, not marked, but leads to a place few have ever reached, where your soul is awakened most deeply. The truth is, what you've gone through is not punishment. It is purification. The upheavals are not meant to break you, but to strip away everything that no longer fits, old beliefs, old relationships, old illusions about yourself. Because karma is not punishment. Karma is a lesson. And you, dear Sagittarius, have completed a very big lesson. A lesson in true freedom. Freedom is not about going far. It is about daring to stand still and face yourself. Perhaps you never thought a day would come when you would find yourself sitting in silence, needing no reason, no fight. And strangely, in that very moment, you feel lighter. You no longer wish to prove anything. No longer seek to be understood. You just want to live honestly. That is the greatest liberation. That is the moment you begin to live in alignment with your soul, instead of the expectations of others. You see, the outside world is not easy on those who live by soul. They will call you dreamy, unrealistic, out of touch. But only those who dare to dream can open a new path for the world. And you are one of those rare few. I know, it's easy to say, but the feelings are very real. I know you've cried in silence. I know there were times you were so exhausted you didn't want to get out of bed. I know you've looked into the mirror and saw a version of yourself you didn't recognize. But the most beautiful thing is, you are still here. And the fact that you are still here, still listening, still searching, still opening your heart, that is sacred. It is proof that your soul has never given up. You may not realize it, but you are changing this world just by daring to be honest with yourself. Every time you say no to something that no longer fits. Every time you walk away from a toxic relationship. Every time you choose peace over chaos. You are sending a message to the universe: I choose truth. I choose awakening. And you know what? People like you, those who dare to live truthfully, dare to heal, dare to start again, you are the hope of humanity. Because the world doesn't need more perfect people. The world needs brave ones. If you are hearing these words, and your heart is resonating, please let me know you are out there. Leave a comment. It doesn't have to be long, just honest. Right, I am ready to live true to myself. Because sometimes, just one sentence like that is enough to awaken another soul who has been silent in the dark. And if this means something to you, please share this video. Not for me, but because someone out there needs to hear these exact words, at this exact moment. Because you never know, maybe because of you, another soul will find their own light. And you know what? Everything I've shared with you today is only the beginning. Because when a Sagittarius soul begins to hear the true call from within, that is the sign that a new chapter is being written. A chapter no longer ruled by fear, but led by intuition, by truth, by the inner light. And that, dear Sagittarius, is when you are no longer a seeker. You become the guide. There's something I've observed throughout my journey working with thousands of souls. Most people think transformation is a grand event, something loud, something dramatic. But in truth, the deepest transformation always begins with the smallest, quietest shifts. Like when you suddenly no longer feel aligned with an old habit. When you no longer want to argue just to be understood. When you choose not to enter a noisy space, and instead, choose quiet. No one sees you changing. There are no fireworks, no drum rolls, no one clapping for you. But inside you, a universe is shifting. And that is when karmic energy begins to dissolve. Because karma is not just about consequences. Karma is the result of choices repeated so many times that we don't even realize we're stuck in them. But you, Sagittarius, are doing something very few dare to do: stop. Observe. And choose again. You are refusing to continue living a life just because it's familiar. You are choosing to step out of an outfit that no longer fits, even if you don't yet know what you'll wear next. To me, that is the highest expression of courage. Let me tell you something I've never shared with anyone. There was a time in my life when I was just like you are now, confused. Tired, feeling like I was living between two worlds. An old world I no longer belonged to. And a new world I didn't yet have the courage to enter. I thought I was losing myself. But then I realized, I wasn't losing anything. I was shedding. I was returning. And I see that happening to you right now. You may notice that you've changed, not on the outside, but in the way you feel everything. The relationships that once caused you pain now become nothing more than a soft sigh. The expectations that once weighed heavy on your shoulders are now just choices. And most especially, you've started to see others with compassion instead of resentment. You no longer need someone to pay for what they did to you. You no longer wait for someone to understand you to feel validated. You simply let go. Letting go is not giving up. Letting go is the bravest act of a matured soul. Because you've understood that everyone is fighting their own battles. And if you can heal, then others can too. And if you've ever hurt someone while you were hurting, then you understand why others behave the way they do. That is the lesson of compassion. And Sagittarius, when a soul learns compassion, it means they've reached a deeper level of awakening. I do not say this as comfort. I say this as a truth I've witnessed in hundreds of lives. High souls are often placed in situations that are difficult, unfair, illogical, not to suffer, but to learn how to transform. And that is you. You are being prepared to become the bearer of a kind of light that the world needs. A kind of light that does not impose, does not judge, does not argue, it simply exists. Think about the times you listened to someone without judgment. The times you supported someone without expecting recognition. The times you wrote a line, said a prayer, or simply offered a look filled with understanding. You have been radiating that light without even knowing it. Because you don't need a title to be a healer. You just need to be yourself, a Sagittarius who has endured enough pain to know that kindness is a choice, not an instinct. I want you to pause for a moment and ask yourself, what has changed in me that I have never named? Maybe you no longer need to win an argument. Maybe the things that once thrilled you no longer hold your attention. Maybe you are quietly changing direction without needing anyone to pat your back. If that's true, please let me know. Write me just one line, something short, but let the universe know that you have begun to see yourself clearly. Right, I am choosing the light, even if no one sees it. Because when you speak that truth, you are not only affirming your path, you are helping another soul feel a little less alone. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, don't hesitate to share. Sometimes, a single video, a few words, a feeling of being seen, can save someone from a long silence they haven't been able to express. You see, we are all walking. And none of us truly have a map. But if enough people dare to be honest, to awaken, to live in sync with their own heartbeat, then this world will soften. And you, Sagittarius, are part of that world. You don't have to go far. The new world is beginning inside of you. And in the next part, I will tell you about something quietly forming, a project, a dream, a calling. Something you haven't yet dared to name but your soul is already moving toward. And you will see, when you walk with your heart leading the way. The universe always makes a path. I used to think that strong people were those who always knew exactly where they were going. But over time, I realized that truly strong people are those who dare to go, even when they don't know the destination. Those who dare to hold a dream in their heart, even when it has no form yet. Those who dare to trust their own rhythm, even when the world tells them it's too vague, too unrealistic. And that, Sagittarius, is what you are doing. Do you feel something is taking shape inside you? A vague but persistent intuition. A sense that you are being called to something bigger, deeper, more real. Maybe you don't know exactly what it is, a project? A new journey? A different way of life? But the feeling is still there. Something that makes it impossible to go back to how things were. This is not random. This is the seed of purpose. To me, purpose is not a grand title, not something you put on your resume or say at events. Purpose is what you cannot not do. Whether people understand or not. Whether it gets recognized or not. And I see you, in this very moment, starting to hear that call. Maybe it's from an old passion returning. An idea you once put aside. A quiet longing, but it never disappeared. And you ask yourself, am I too old to start again? No. It is never too late to return to what truly belongs to you. I remember an old friend once told me, I don't know if what I'm doing will succeed. But if I don't do it, I know my heart will wither a little more each day. And you know what? She started again, at the age of 58, and now she is one of the most inspiring people I know. Not because she's famous, but because she's real. I share this with you not to push you to do something great, but to remind you, anything sown from a truthful heart, no matter how small, has the power to change the world. And you possess something rare, a vision. A way of sensing life that no one else has. A value system that is becoming more solid and transparent. What you thought was out of place is actually the light this world is craving. Maybe you've been told that you're too sensitive, too idealistic, too dreamy. But you know what? It's those who are too much who make the world softer, more soulful, more worth living in. Don't hide what is stirring inside you anymore. Don't wait until you're fully ready. The truth is, no one is ever truly ready. We just need to be honest enough with ourselves. And brave enough to begin. Maybe it's rewriting a chapter you once abandoned. Maybe it's sending an email expressing an idea you've held onto for too long. Maybe it's quietly changing the way you care for your body, your mind, and your soul every day. Whatever it is, please, don't underestimate it. Because great things always begin with a very small step, but one that is true. I want you to take a little time after listening to this part to write down something you've kept in your heart but haven't dared to admit. You don't need to write it for anyone else. Write it for yourself. To see it clearly. To admit to yourself, I've been called to this. And if you are brave enough, I invite you to share it in the comments below. No need for details. Just a whispered truth, I know it's coming. Sometimes, just one sentence like that, from someone like you, can bring another person to tears. Because you don't realize how far you've come until you look back and realize. You've lived through things others only hear about in stories. And yet you're still here. Still kind. Still believing. This world needs people like you. Not to shout louder, but to be a living testament to gentle resilience. And in the next part, I will tell you about what is quietly being sent from the other side of the invisible veil. A sign, a presence, a soul companion? And maybe, it's the confirmation you've been waiting for a very long time. There are things that come into our lives without warning. No knocking. No introduction. They just appear, gently, but they stir something deep within the soul. And we know, this is not a coincidence. I believe that some meetings are not arranged by us, but designed by the universe. Some people step into our lives like a breeze, not loud, not seeking space. But their presence brings something strange, a silent comfort. A message. And I see that, in this moment of your life, someone like that is coming near. It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It could be a friend, a teacher, a collaborator, or even a soul companion you've never met in person, but they show up through a word, a message, a glance, and make you feel seen. Understood. Have you ever felt that? When someone completely unfamiliar says exactly what you're thinking. When you accidentally hear a song lyric, a quote, a line from a movie, and it moves you to tears because, that's exactly me. If so, you've been touched by what I call a sacred coincidence. A signal sent by the universe, to let you know you are not alone. I still remember a very special day in my life, when I was sitting in complete silence. Doing nothing, just breathing. And suddenly, I felt as though someone gently placed a hand on my shoulder. Not physically, but energetically. A warm sensation, filled with love. I didn't see anyone. But I knew someone was with me, even if I couldn't name them. In that moment, I no longer felt alone. And I believe something similar is happening to you. You may not be able to name it, but you feel it. A presence. A message arriving from a place beyond logical understanding. And if you feel that, please, don't dismiss it. Don't think you're too sensitive or imagining things. Because the soul always knows better than the mind. Your soul has the ability to sense the truth that the eyes cannot see. And the one coming into your life may be the embodiment of healing. Not to fill your emptiness, but to remind you, you were never truly empty. Not to save you, but to walk beside you on the path you've bravely walked alone for far too long. Maybe you're used to being strong. To doing everything by yourself. To not leaning on anyone. But the miracle is this. The one about to enter your life won't make you feel weak, they will make you feel safe enough to lean. And I want you to know. You are worthy of this presence. You don't have to do anything to be worthy. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be better. You just need to be yourself, a Sagittarius who has gone through enough pain to know the value of sincerity. And who has grown generous enough to realize. Being loved is not a reward, it's a natural right when we live true to who we are. I've learned a deep lesson in life. Sometimes, the greatest gift is not success or money. But someone who makes you feel like you no longer have to carry it all alone. And that gift is on its way to you. I know, believing in this takes courage. Because you've been disappointed. You've lost trust. You've placed your faith in the wrong people. You've once thought, maybe I'm not meant to be loved completely. But please believe me. No one is born to be alone. No one is created just to live among broken pieces. And you, dear Sagittarius, are a soul who is now ready to receive something kind, whole, and true. Not because you've paid your karmic debts, but because you now understand enough not to repeat them. If you feel a subtle shift in your heart, so soft you can't even name it, trust that it means something. The universe always whispers before it speaks clearly. It always sends emotion before form. And if this touches your heart, I invite you to share. I open my heart to receive the sacred presence in my life. Not for others to see, but to send a signal to the universe. I am ready. Because when you are ready, that person, or rather, that energy, will step in. And it won't blind you like fireworks. It will touch you like morning light, gentle, but enough to awaken you. And in the next part, I will take you deeper, to the place where you begin to realize that the one you've been searching for all along, is you. No one else. And that the most beautiful awakening, is the return to yourself. I want to say something to you, something you may need to hear more now than ever. You are not your job. Not what you own. Not what you've done or haven't done. You are a soul. And your worth has never been in achievement, but in presence. It took me many years to understand this. I once thought that if I were successful enough, helped enough people, was strong and useful enough, then I would deserve to be loved. But that very thought slowly made me forget how to love myself when I was doing nothing at all. And then one day, in the depths of stillness, I realized, I don't have to try so hard to be accepted. I just need to come home. Come home to myself, with no reason, no need to prove anything. Sagittarius, you may be in such a phase right now. A part of you is being called back to simplicity, to yourself. Free from roles, expectations, or achievements. You are learning how to listen to yourself again, gently, quietly. And that is sacred. Because this society teaches us how to pursue, but not how to pause. Teaches how to succeed, but not how to feel enough. Teaches how to move forward, but not how to return. And you, through your very journey, are doing what the world needs to see. That someone can be strongest not when they achieve something grand, but when they choose to live truthfully. You are becoming steady enough not to be shaken by judgment. Calm enough not to be swept away by the noise of the world. And bright enough not to fear your own darkness anymore. That is the gift you are giving yourself. And also the gift you are quietly giving the world. I believe one of the most humane, socially impactful acts in our time is not helping countless people, but daring to live truthfully, to create a soft ripple in the collective. That there is another way. A different way to live. A different frequency. If you feel you are walking slower than others, remember this. Lotuses do not bloom in spring. They wait until midsummer, when the light is right, when the earth is ready, then slowly rise from deep mud. And so do you. If you've ever compared yourself to others, if you've ever felt like you were being left behind, allow me to remind you. You are in your own sacred timing. You are not late. You are germinating. And the day will come, not far from now, when you will look back and be grateful for these silent moments. I invite you to do this. Leave a comment about something you once felt was slower than others. But you've persisted. Maybe it's a dream. A healing journey. A life change. Write it down, not just to share, but to send a signal to the universe that you are walking. To the rhythm that is truly yours. Right, I am not slow. I am germinating. And if this touches something deep within you, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video. Because somewhere out there, a soul may be quietly struggling in the dark, and they need a gentle reminder that light will come. Sagittarius, you are learning to become the friend you once needed. The teacher you once searched for. And the companion you once prayed for. And in the next part, I will bring you back to a simple truth that is easy to forget. That you are the miracle you've been waiting for. No one else. Nowhere else. Just you, right here. There was a long period in my life when I kept searching for something outside. Someone to love, a dream to chase, a success to achieve. I kept thinking that once I found it, I would finally be at peace. But you know what, the farther I went, the more empty I felt. And one day, with nothing left to chase, I had no choice but to sit still. Only then did I hear the true calling. A voice that didn't come from the outside world, but from deep within me. A quiet, warm, persistent voice. You have always been enough. You just forgot. Sagittarius, if you are hearing these words, then I believe you are also beginning to hear that voice inside you. Not a voice that urges you to do more, but a gentle voice reminding you, come home. Come home to your own heart. To a peace that asks for nothing. To your most authentic self, no roles, no performance, no need to prove anything. We've grown used to a society that teaches us this. Only when we achieve something great do we have value. But the truth is, you are valuable simply because you are alive. You breathe. You feel. You love. You grieve. You forgive. You continue. And if you've ever thought you had to become someone to be worthy of love, then let me be here to tell you. You don't have to become anything. Because you are the miracle. I know you may have once longed for someone to come and heal all your wounds. But perhaps, the real gift the universe gave you is not someone else. It is you, after you've walked through doubt, through loss, and stood up from the darkness with your own light. That is strength. That is maturity. And that is freedom. You no longer need a special event to begin again. Because every breath, every moment of awareness, is a chance to return to yourself. No one can take that away from you. I once believed in fated encounters. Now I believe the most important meeting is the one between us and our own soul. And I believe, Sagittarius, you are very close to that moment. You are no longer who you used to be. The way you see the world has changed. The way you love now has more depth. The way you stay silent now has more peace. The way you walk now has more trust in the unseen. Ask yourself, am I living in alignment with my soul right now? If the answer is not quite, that's okay. Just daring to ask the question means you've already begun. And if you feel ready, I invite you to write down one promise you want to make to yourself after hearing this. Write it out. Send it out into the world like a seed. Because a word, when spoken from truth, begins a journey of transformation. You could write, I choose to return to myself. Or whatever your heart is whispering. And if this path has touched you, please share it. Not to spread content, but to spread light. So that someone else, walking alone in the dark, might know they are not alone. Dear one, you've come so far. Don't forget to look back and thank yourself. Thank the one who stumbled. The one who hurt. The one who was afraid, but kept going. Kept believing. Kept loving. Because it is that very person, you, who brought you to this moment. A moment where you no longer need anyone to confirm your worth. You already know it. You already feel it. And now is the time to fully live it. You don't need more proof. You don't need to wait for more signs. You don't need anyone's approval. You only need to believe what your heart has known all along. That you have always been the light. That you were never late to your destiny. That everything you are feeling right now is the answer you've been looking for.